Hi, it's NuWave Oven recipes. Got a very big, heavy box here, and this is the Amazon Smart Oven. And before we get into the unboxing, there's some things that I want to break down for you so that you know about this and some history, some background, because I just feel that it's good that you know what you're getting yourself into when you get this sort of cooker. Basically, before the Amazon Smart Oven came on the scene, you probably, if you were into keeping up with the newest cookers and what's going on with them, and even if you aren't, there's a cooker called the June Smart Oven that came out before this Amazon Smart Oven. It does a lot of the same similar things with like scan to cook and being able to interface with Amazon's assistant. It can also like determine based on the food you put in it, what it is to kind of try and cook it for you. This doesn't like tell you what food you just put in it unless you scan a barcode or something, or you tell it what's in there. But all the same, the June Smart Oven has a lot of the features that you get kind of in the Amazon Smart Oven, similar type of thing in some ways. Here's what's interesting. Amazon is an investor in Juul, so basically the folks at Juul have to report to Amazon. Well, now Amazon's come out with a smart oven that kind of competes in the space of Juul and is about half the price of the Juul Smart Oven. So, just my opinion, looks like Amazon's trying to snuff Juul out. And, you know, they learned from what they, you know, in my opinion, learned from what they saw Juul doing, and they're coming with their own thing. So, just so you're aware of that. Also, the Amazon Smart Oven, unlike the June Smart Oven, doesn't have any type of monthly subscription fee after you buy the cooker. Like the June Smart Oven, you had to pay a monthly fee to get updates to the Smart Oven. And that's because June is not as big as Amazon. So, you know, they had to have a way to fund continuing to maintain the cooker for all its smarts. It's not so with the Amazon Smart Oven. There's no type of monthly fee. They will send automatic updates to it. As I mentioned in the earlier video, this Smart Oven does keep a log of activity. It's supposed to be used only in support purposes to send to Amazon, but it is logging activity, just so you know. And this Amazon Smart Oven basically brings buyers into the Amazon ecosystem. So it's like, you know, you buy an Amazon Smart Oven. If you want to be able to use the scan to cook, you have to use food that's, you know, from like Amazon-owned Whole Foods or other Amazon-owned properties, or companies that partner with Amazon on this oven, like Marie Callender's has partnered with Amazon for Scan to Cook so that you can scan to cook some of their products. But a lot of the stuff that functions with the Amazon Smart Oven on Scan to Cook is like Amazon stuff. So, you know, getting this, and it also integrates with the Echo, so like that assistant. So basically, if you didn't have an assistant before, if you want to be able to use this Smart Oven smoothly, you got to get the Echo. So basically, what Amazon does with the Smart Oven is they pull you in to that that ecosystem. You probably just heard my Echo just make a chime there of a notification. So basically, that's the deal. You know, Amazon, you know, to me, they're snuffing out June, and they're coming with their own thing, and they kind of get you into their ecosystem. All right, and I also wanted to talk about the delivery speed of this cooker, because there's some people that are ordering and they're saying, hey, I'm getting delivery dates that are far out. And what's happening is that Amazon's processing orders in queue, and I guess they're getting a lot of orders. And so depending on when you order, you know, it might be a while before you get it, even if you ordered shortly after announcement, because there's so many people, I think, that are ordering these. And for mine, it came a day late because the shipment was delayed. So it was like, you know, I was supposed to get this a day before today, and now I'm getting it today. And so it seems like, you know, there's probably a heavy demand for this cooker. So let's go ahead and unbox this Amazon Smart Oven. We start out, we've got a manual here. We got the Smart Oven user manual. Got like, I guess, a quick startup type of guide. We got the spinner for the turntable, and here is the actual glass turntable. Alright, so here it is out of the box. It's so huge I had to adjust the camera a bit just so you could see the oven. So it's got like some tape on the back here. I'm just getting off. A little packing tape on the front here. We'll just see about this. It looks like you got to open up to get that off. And so inside of here are some more of the parts. There's some tape down on the turntable thing there. Alright, so here we have a pan that is essential for this cooker, and using it with some of the things that are used with the convection oven cook. You wouldn't use this pan in the microwave types of cooks. And here is the meat probe. Have a look at the meat probe there. Let's untangle it and see how long it is. Alright, it looks like it's not a very long probe. I guess long enough to plug in and then get into your food. But I guess depending on where you place things, you know, you just got to make sure that you can get the probe into it. And here are the small and tall racks. Basically, depending on what you're cooking, you use a lower rack, or if you're trying to get things up to the heating elements on the top, you use the higher rack. And these are used, of course, with like your convection oven type of cooking, as well as the meat probe. You don't use any of this metal stuff when you're using microwave functions. All right, I want to show you the power cord. This power cord is pretty big. So I'm getting it unwound here. Now this power cord, look at how big this thing is. This thing is pretty huge. And it does have the 3 prongs, which is pretty cool. And it's a pretty lengthy cord. I mean, this is pretty long. This is definitely over 3 feet. I'm going to measure this power cord, see how long it is. Man, this thing is like, it's about almost 4 feet. Yeah, it's about 4 feet in length. Now I'm just going to run down the specifications to you direct from the manual. It's a 120 volts, 60 hertz. The rated input power is 1600 watts. The rated output power for the microwave oven is 1000 watts. The rated output power for the convection oven is 1400 watts. The rated output power for keep warm, interestingly enough, is 1300 watts. Interesting, it needs that much power to keep warm, but the oven capacity is 1.5 cubic feet. The turntable diameter is 13.6 inches, so you can definitely, I guess, you know, fit a full 12-inch pizza in here with no problem. The external dimensions are 21.73 inches by 21.38 inches by 12.83 inches. And the net weight is 44.75 pounds. That's without all that packaging, which adds, you know, a good bit of weight to it. So depending on your strength level, you might need help carrying this. The minimum clearance for this cooker is 3 inches all around, but on top it needs at least 12 inches of height above it clear. And I'll just point out that the meat probe can read temperatures as low as 68 degrees Fahrenheit up to a maximum of 212 degrees Fahrenheit on the meat probe. Alright, so here's the Amazon Smart Oven. I've got it set up on a table here, and basically this is where I'll keep this oven at all times because it's kind of heavy. You don't want to move it. And so basically I just want to show you, before I go any further, a quick look inside. I will say, when you first plug it in, it shows a message saying connect it to the Amazon app, the app that you use for your assistant. I can't say the name because I don't want to trigger your assistant. But anyway, you connect it to the app. I haven't connected it yet, but it wants to be connected and connected to Wi-Fi. That's why the Wi-Fi symbol's blinking over there in the corner. But inside, just want to show you. Now I've got the, you know, microwave oven turntable part down there on the bottom. Up here up top, you can see that nice big heating element up top there. You see in the back there's like some, I guess, airflow stuff going on there that looks like that has to be the fan, because over here on this side we just have a light and maybe like some type of sensor or something over there. I don't know what's behind that plate. Over on this other side there's nothing. So all the fan and real airflow operation has to be going on from the back. Alright, so when you first plug the smart oven in, it's going to have a message saying add it to the assistance device. I don't want to say that name, but you basically would go into the app and you go into devices and add devices, and then you add it. But I've had this setting on for a while, so it's just kind of defaulted to this type of screen here. So what I have to do, I have to get it kind of in its pairing mode. So I'm going to hit settings until I get to setup. So I'm just continually hitting start setup. That's what I want. So I hit start. Now it's ready. So now I'm in my app and I go down, since I've already gone into add devices, and the type of device is oven. So I select oven, select Amazon, then I click next, and it tells me the permissions it's going to need. So I click next, then I'm going to scan barcode. So going to open up the barcodes right there and scan that barcode. And now that I've scanned it, it's looking for my oven. And it's looking and looking. The oven says it's connecting. We'll see if this works. Now it's connecting to the network. We'll see if it connects to the network. Okay, so with getting the smart oven connected to the app and all, things basically got to a point in the app where it said that it was connecting to my network and it would just hang. Now, I intentionally tried to connect it to my 2.4 gig network connection instead of the 5, because I figured, you know, like many different devices, they don't work on anything but 2.4. And I was correct. However, for some reason, the connection would still hang. It would still say on the app that was connecting. The smart oven had a message saying it was connecting, and it would just hang. I had to call Amazon support, and after doing a bunch of troubleshooting, not sending them any logs at all, but doing a lot of troubleshooting, who knows, maybe they got some logs without telling me, but that's just my opinion maybe. But anyway, it wouldn't connect until we restarted my router. We just rebooted it, just turned it off for 30 seconds, turned it back on, and then it was able to connect. I've never had that type of issue with getting anything to connect to my network ever, but it worked. The smart oven's connected and we can proceed. All right, so now I want to show you what the different cooking modes are as far as the smart oven in regards to the accessories that you use with each cooking mode. Inside of the Amazon smart oven, you always have this glass bottom here, just like your microwave, your bottom turntable thingy there. And in addition to that, depending on what you're cooking, you have, as I mentioned earlier, your tray or your small or your tall rack. For air frying, you use the tall rack, and they recommend that you use the tray also when you're air frying. And this is the same for convection cooking. You are recommended to use the tall rack and the tray. The meat probe for either your air frying or your convection cooking is optional if you want to use the meat probe. If you're using the warming function to keep warm, you use the small rack, and it's optional to use the tray. There's an auto roast feature. If you're using the auto roast function, you use either the small or the tall rack, and it's recommended you use the tray, and you have to also use the meat probe. Now for all the microwave type functions, which are microwave, defrost, reheat, and preset cook, you don't use any of the racks or any of the tray or probe, because that's all metal. All you use is your glass bottom here and whatever container you might have food in, if you have it in some type of container. And it has to be a microwave safe container, of course. Alright, now that I've got the smart oven all set up, I also wanted to mention that, as you can see, the clock is running. Basically, once you get it connected to your Wi-Fi and all, the clock is automatically locked in and set. It's 9:11 p.m. where I am, but it's not showing a PM, so there's no AM/PM indicator apparently on this clock. Now I wanted to talk about real quick the Ask Alexa. Oh, I don't want to say that name, but the Ask, let's say Alex button here on the smart oven. It basically is a way to get the Echo that's connected awake without saying the keyword. So like I could use it in videos to do cooks without triggering the keyword. And basically, other than that, I don't know why anyone who's just at their house would want to use the button and not just say the keyword, because if you're talking to your Echo, you're going to be, talking anyway. May as well say the keyword out loud. So anyway, I'm just going to demonstrate here. I'm going to press the button, and now my device is awake. So I'm going to say, microwave for 10 seconds.
I'm not sure.
Let's try that again. Maybe because I was talking earlier, it got confused. So I'm just going to hit the button and then say my command. Microwave for 10 seconds.
Microwaving for 10 seconds.
And there we go. We're microwaving. I'm going to stop that. We'll hit pause again and it stops. Now normally after you open and close the door on the Amazon Smart Oven, you've got like about a 10-minute window to issue voice commands. If you're going to need more than 10 minutes to start issuing your voice commands, there's an Enable Remote Start button, and you can hit that, and then you got more than 10 minutes to do any voice commands that you want to do if you want an extended period of time to issue those voice commands. Alright, so I've already showed you how to use the microwave feature, but you can even use the voice commands to add time while something is cooking. So I'm going to get a microwave cook started, and then I'm going to add time to it. I will be muting out when I say the trigger word. I'm not going to reach over to hit the button every time I want to issue a command. So I'm going to start a cook now. Microwave 5 minutes.
Microwaving for 5 minutes.
Add 10 minutes to the microwave.
10 minutes added. 14 minutes, 50 seconds left.
Alright, so we see I just added 10 minutes by voice. If you don't want to have to walk over and, have to issue commands, and I'm going to stop it by voice. Stop the microwave.
Okay.
Just stop the microwave by voice. Don't have to come over and press any buttons. Okay, now let's say I want to microwave on power level for a certain amount of time, which I always find is great for when you want to, let's say, heat up a frozen donut. If you want to heat up a frozen donut, you can do it, just at a high heat, or you can do like a slow, lower power level and get it done. So watch this. I'm going to show you how to do power level. Microwave for 2 minutes on power 2.
Microwaving for 2 minutes.
Now it's 2 minutes on 20% power. You have to do numbers between 1 and 10 for your power level. Stop the microwave.
Okay.
Now Amazon has pages, and I mean literally pages of commands that you can do to basically manage this smart oven by voice. I mean, I've printed off the different commands. It's like about almost 5 pages, about 4¼ pages of different commands that you can do. And with each command, you have to not just know the food that you're going to give a command about, if you're not doing by a time or a temperature, because you can do time and temperature, but if you're doing by certain food types, you also have to know like how much you're doing. So you have to make sure when you're speaking to it about specific things that you know the details that you're supposed to be able to give in feedback. Like for example, if you're going to air fry some breaded shrimp, you have to know the count, a minimum of 4, a maximum of 12. If you go outside of those bounds, it's going to say, hey, I don't understand you or something. So I just want to do a quick example of like using the defrost with voice. Defrost broccoli.
What's the volume of broccoli?
1 cup.
Defrosting 1 cup of broccoli.
So it goes into automatically its settings for defrosting a cup of broccoli. I could have done between 1 and 6 cups. I could have given a more specific, detailed sentence to start and said like defrost broccoli or defrost 1 cup of broccoli, to just say it all in one sentence instead of, you know, saying broccoli and then waiting for it to ask. Stop the microwave.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it all in one sentence now just so that you see how that goes. Defrost 1 cup of broccoli.
Defrosting 1 cup of broccoli.
So there you go. Stop the microwave.
Okay.
And so of course you could also, you know, just say defrost by time and give a time, and it would just do its defrost setting by a certain amount of time. And as I said, there are, you know, so many different foods and so many different things that you can do. You really have to get the list to see everything, and I'm sure that Amazon's going to be updating that list and making, you know, even more features and functions and things that you can do by voice. Now, one thing I wanted to mention that's interesting, when you air fry, as I pointed out, you would use the high rack with this pan, but as you notice, this pan doesn't have any holes. So unlike other air fryers, like all other air fryers, when you air fry in this, your grease is going to stay in the pan. With other air fryers, you know, they have like a mesh or a rack that you air fry on and things go down into a grease catcher. In this cooker, it seems like they aren't expecting you to let grease go down on that microwave glass. They want you to use the pan. So when you're going to be air frying in this, all your grease is going to stay in here. And unlike other air fryers, it's going to drip off. So you'll have, you know, less of that benefit of your fat. You'll have less of that health benefit of the fat dripping away from your food. But for those of you who like the stuff to stay in and stay in with the food, hey, it will work for you pretty well. Now, they do recommend when you're not using the Amazon Smart Oven, remove all metal from the inside, because, you know, who knows who might accidentally start the microwave, and you don't want to have any metal in there and cause sparks and the issues and damage that can happen from having metal in your microwave. I'm thinking maybe, you know, maybe in the Amazon Smart Oven 2.0 or something, maybe they'll have a sensor that can detect if there's metal in when you use a microwave function and tell you, hey, get the metal out first. But we're not that far advanced yet. Preheat to 425 degrees.
Preheating first oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit.
Now, what's very interesting is that it's preheating and the turntable is spinning down there on the bottom. Alright, it's 1 degree away and it's been like 18 minutes preheating. It's a quiet preheat, and sometimes you hear the convection fan come on during the preheat. But almost 18 minutes now. This is probably the longest preheat I've ever seen. It's at 425. Let's see what it's going to do. It should tell me something in a moment, I guess, once it sustains 425. Alright, I'm going to go in and check the temperature now. I thought it might, you know, cry out and tell me, hey, you're done. Now it's like 460s in the bottom. In the back is like just 200. It's like 300 on the sidewall. Okay, over here it was like 400 something for a moment. But I'm not reading anywhere in there that is really 425. It took forever, and it just reached 425 when my reads on my, you know, my temperature gauge are not really showing 425. So that is very interesting. Stop the oven.
Okay.
Now for scan and cook, to scan and cook things, Amazon has several pages of foods that you can scan the cook. You can download this basically on their site, but it's like, you know, mostly Amazon products, Gardein and their Everyday 365. They have some Marie Calendar stuff going on in there too. So Marie Calendar is a pretty big player in here aside from their own stuff. They have like almost 2 pages of Marie Calendar stuff. But then the rest is Gardein and Everyday Value. And so most of it is Amazon's brands and then some Marie Calendar in there too. Alright, so let's try and scan and cook a chicken pot pie. The cooker's still kind of warm from preheat testing, but we're going to go for it. So in the app, I go to Devices and I go to the Cooking group, and under Cooking, I'm going to click Scan to Cook, and I'm going to scan a barcode. So let me find the barcode on this chicken pot pie. There it is. And I scanned it, and so it's telling me that it's the Marie Calendar's chicken pot pie, the 10 ounce, and follow instructions on the food packaging to make sure the food is ready to cook, and then place the food in the oven and press start on the oven. I'll get notification when my food is ready or if there are any more steps. So I'm going to basically go ahead and get this prepared like you're supposed to according to the instructions. Alright, so I've got this prepared the way it's supposed to be. I put it on a plate myself. They don't mention needing it on a plate, but I put it on a microwave safe plate. Sticking it in here, I can still feel the warmth from preheat testing, but I'm going to close up and just hit start. And it looks like it's just got its own set start temperature, own set start time there on the microwave. And so now that I've clicked the next button on the app is showing me the time on the microwave, how far it's counting down, and that it's power level 10. And so we're just going to let this cook. Alright, now one thing I found interesting is that the packaging for the chicken pot pie says do it for about 6.5 minutes. The Smart Oven started at about 9 minutes cooking time, which is way more than is recommended on the packaging. And now what I'm seeing in there, I think that my chicken pot pie is being well overcooked. So I think that its automatic setting for chicken pot pie is probably off by a few minutes. Stop the microwave.
Okay.
So I've stopped the microwave and I'm going to go in and check the temperature of my chicken pot pie. It's like reading way over 200 degrees Fahrenheit on that chicken pot pie. So I think that we've confirmed here that the scan to cook, you better be careful with it. It may be because the oven was already hot that it, overcooked it like that. But I think the fact that it set it for like 9 minutes, some interesting crackle going on in there. But I think the fact that it set it to like 9 minutes to microwave at high power to start, it was going too far to begin with, because you're supposed to do these for about 6.5 minutes, then let it just set for about 5. But this chicken pot pie has been cooked, way longer than it should have, because it started out at the cooking time longer. Now it was warm in there, but I still feel it just isn't giving a good scan to cook time on that chicken pot pie. I don't know how it's going to be for other things, but I'll say be careful with that scan to cook. Alright, so I've opened the door, let things cool down a little bit. It's just a little warm in there now. It's not very hot, but it's warm. And I've got 8 chicken nuggets here in the pan with the high rack for air frying. And we're going to try and air fry these by voice and see how that goes. Air fry 8 chicken nuggets.
How many do you want to air fry?
8.
Okay, air frying now.
Must be doing some fresh chicken nuggets, because 25 minutes would be way too long to cook 8 chicken nuggets to air fry them. Alright, so I'm going to stop this. Stop the oven.
Okay.
Alright, so it ran for like a couple minutes on that, but I'm just going to basically call out what I think might work for it to see if it'll go ahead and air fry these pretty decent. Air fry for 13 minutes at 425 degrees.
Air frying for 13 minutes at 425 degrees.
Of course, it's not at 425 degrees yet. It takes probably more than 13 minutes to reach 425 degrees Fahrenheit in this cooker, but I'll give it about 13 minutes and we'll see what comes out of it. Maybe they really needed 25 minutes for frozen chicken nuggets, which would be incredible if it needed 25 minutes for that. Maybe I should go back and let it do it like it wanted to do it. Man, that would be incredible. And it might be really what it needed. That's amazing. Now we're into less than the last 30 seconds of the 13-minute setting. You can see it still hasn't reached the 425 that I wanted it to reach. And so I'm thinking these chicken nuggets may not be fully cooked. I'm going to check their temperature, but if their temperature comes out pretty low, that would mean that their initial setting of over 20 minutes would be correct to air fry some chicken nuggets. So let's see what's going on in here now. I'm going to just stick the temperature probe in. I'm reading 128, 130. That's after about 13 minutes. So these still needed a good bit more time than the 13 plus maybe 2 minutes that I did earlier. They may need closer to that, 20 plus minutes if you're starting from a fully cold start, trying to just heat up some frozen chicken nuggets. But I don't think 15 minutes is going to get it, because with the couple of minutes that I started with before plus the 13 minutes added on, that was about 15 minutes. So you're probably going to need over 20 minutes as they initially set for frozen chicken nuggets. This is a longer cooking time for air frying than I've ever seen from an air fryer ever. And so with that, we're just going to basically do this another way for the Amazon Smart Oven. Alright, I think we found what the Amazon Smart Oven is really good at. So I got a microwave safe plate, and so you know what I'm going to do. And this isn't what I really want from my chicken nuggets, but microwave for 2 minutes.
Microwaving for 2 minutes.
Alright, now I'm sure I super overcooked them, because 2 minutes in the microwave would have been enough for them being fully frozen. But let's see how they do with 2 minutes plus the earlier cooking. Let's see how hot they are. Yeah, they're up in the like 200 plus range. So the microwave works as you would expect, but the air fryer and the convection, probably not so much. Alright, so now that we've tried some of the features, we're going to try baking something. We're going to try and bake some crescent rolls. You're supposed to preheat to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and 350 for a non-stick cookie sheet. We're going to go with the 375 for this cooker. And I'm going to get these together while it's preheating, because we know it's going to take a while. And then I'll do a bake for it's supposed to be 9 to 12. I'll just tell it 12 and we'll see what we get. But for now, we'll get it started preheating. Preheat to 375 degrees.
Preheating first oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alright, it's preheated. I've got my crescent rolls here. Let's stick them in. Bake at 375 degrees for 12 minutes.
Convection baking for 12 minutes at 375 degrees.
Alright, we're coming into the final seconds of this crescent roll cook, so we'll see what we have in there in a moment. Alright. Let's get them out and see how they look. Here's how they look. They look a little lightly done. I mean, I don't think the dough inside is very well hard cooked. I'd like them cooked a little longer. I'm going to give them a few more minutes. Bake at 375 degrees for 4 minutes.
Convection baking for 4 minutes at 375 degrees.
Alright, so we went for basically 16 minutes total, and this is what we have in the end. This looks more like I would expect some crescent rolls to look, but most every other cooker I know of would have gotten here in far less than 16 minutes. Alright, so now I'm going to try the reheat feature with a plate of food. So you see I've got those chicken nuggets back, I've got some broccoli from the fridge, some rice from the fridge. I'm just going to set that in there. Now the smart oven's already a little warm from previous cooks. I'm going to put a regular microwave food cover on there. And this is one time I'll be using the buttons because it has a button just for this purpose. An auto reheat button and a plate of food, and it senses it. So I'm going to hit start, and it's supposed to sense and basically automatically stop when it thinks that things are warm. Alright, so it's done with its auto reheat. Seems to take a bit longer than a normal microwave would, and things seem very hot in there after that. I'm just going to check the temperature of the nuggets to see how hot they are. Nuggets are well over 200 degrees, so I would say, this did more than just reheat. It, basically overcooked reheat. So I wouldn't say that the sensing reheat is all that greater, or really all that great, or all that better, or all that different than I've seen from a lot of other microwaves that have the auto sense, where they try and auto sense and they usually don't get it right. And I think it's a similar case here. So real quick to talk about cleaning the Amazon Smart Oven. You clean the inside here just like you would basically any other microwave, a damp cloth, and wipe the interior, and that's all. The other parts they recommend using soapy water and cleaning them off. They don't recommend the dishwasher for anything, so wash everything by hand. Alright, so the Amazon Smart Oven, I can just say straight up, I think with some software upgrades it'll be a great microwave. Definitely not an air fryer. As far as compared to other air fryers, it's not an air fryer. It can do convection baking, but it takes even longer with that. A little disappointed in the performance of this smart oven. Was hoping for a bit more out of Amazon, and so I guess it is what it is. So I guess I'm thinking, should I trade it for a Breville CombiWave? Like send this back to Amazon and get a Breville CombiWave 3-in-1? Maybe, maybe. I don't think that the folks at June need to be very worried about this cooker unless Amazon just hypes it to sell it more than something like the June Smart Oven. But, I think that this cooker, it's another swing and kind of a miss from Amazon for what they purported it to be. So, like I said, it is what it is, and at this point, I'm kind of on that fence of maybe return it. Do I really want to keep it? That's where I'm at with this, but definitely not what we were looking for or hoping for out of this. I will say that for sure. I'm sure you probably feel the same seeing the performance. So anyway, you can find plenty of recipes for all kinds of cookers at superwaveovenrecipes.com. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at waveovenrecipes. You can always come to this YouTube channel by going to waveovenrecipes.com. And if you like this video, just for the effort, don't give thumbs up, thumbs down based on this cooker, please. Just on the effort of the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend. Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell, and good eating.